What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU, and today is a great day because we have some new official photos from Spider-Man No Way Home, and we have Tom Holland himself talking about some scenes in the movie, what it was like filming some of these scenes. One scene in particular, the scene with Doc Ock, Alfred Molina returning to play the character, what that was like, and what it was like filming with Zendaya and Jacob Batalon again, and the heartbreak that they all felt not knowing if this actually was going to be the last Spider-Man film that they filmed together. While at the same time, Tom Holland talks about how confident he was in filming Spider-Man No Way Home along with director John Watts, and how much fun they had filming this movie. And last but not least, Tom Holland talks about if they did do another Spider-Man film or franchise after the No Way Home trilogy, it would have to be very different than what they are doing now. And I'll deep dive into all of this in this video, and if you're new and you want to stay up to date on all things Spider-Man No Way Home, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. So first and foremost, this is all coming from Entertainment Weekly, EW.com, and they did release two new steals from Spider-Man No Way Home. And of course, we will talk about these first. Now, the first one is actually kind of funny. It's of Spider-Man and MJ. Now, if you pay attention to MJ's clothes and Spider-Man's Spidey suit, you can notice that these are actually the exact same outfits that they were wearing at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home in the post-credit scene. So this picture that we're looking at right here is most likely at the very beginning of the film. It's no doubt going to take place right after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home, right after Mysterio reveals that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. This is most likely right after JJJ gets done talking on the mega screen. Then everybody's going to turn and look at Spider-Man, and then he's going to grab MJ and get out of there. And as we know from the post-credit scene, MJ did not really like web-slinging that much, and in this one it looks like he's free-falling for some period of time before he slings that web. And she just looks like she's having a great time. Now, the next photo that we get is really, really good. We get another photo of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, what appears to be right outside of the Sanctum. And Strange just looks really fed up with Peter, like, come on kid, what are you doing here? And if you notice, he is still wearing that red and black Spider-Man suit. So this most likely is taking place during the first half of the film as well. This is probably either right before or right after he goes to Doctor Strange and asks him to do that spell where everybody can forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Now, there's absolutely zero context to these photos. However, if I look at this photo with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, I kind of feel like it's a very particular scene. I kind of feel like this is right after some villains are let loose, and the multiverse kind of starts to go into chaos. Since we see Peter Parker in normal clothes in the trailer inside of the Sanctum asking Doctor Strange to do the spell, and in this photo he is in his Spider-Man outfit, I want to say that this is after Doctor Strange does the spell. Also, not to mention, Wong is nowhere to be seen, and if something was going on outside, Wong would definitely be there checking it out. So I'm assuming that this is after Strange does the spell, and we know that Spider-Man kind of messes up the spell. Or as Doctor Strange says, he tampers with it. And now it looks like that tampering kind of caused things to go wrong, and now they're dealing with the repercussions, and this could be why Doctor Strange is pretty fed up with Spider-Man in this photo. His arms are crossed and he's looking at him, kind of like, you see what you did, kid? Also, at this point, we kind of know that the villains are going to be kept inside of a magical prison cell inside of the Sanctum that Strange is holding them in. And as rumor has it, Spider-Man is actually going to let these villains free, whether on purpose or accident, or whether it was with the spell, we don't know at this point. But that could be what we're seeing right here. He let all of the villains go, and that could be the reason that Strange is pretty pissed right here. Hopefully we'll find out a little bit more when that trailer comes, and hopefully we're getting that within about a month now. But with these photos, like I mentioned, came interviews with Tom Holland and him speaking up about some certain parts of the film. And the first thing we're going to talk about is his scene with Alfred Molina. Tom Holland talks about filming with Alfred Molina, and keep in mind the last time that Alfred Molina filmed as Doc Ock was in 2004. That's when Spider-Man 2 came out, which also means that he probably filmed in 2003 as well. That means Alfred Molina played Doc Ock almost 20 years ago, and it's been almost 20 years since he acted like Doc Ock. And here's what Tom Holland had to say about filming with Alfred Molina. He said, "It was really fun to watch him see how technology has advanced. When he was making these films, the arms were puppets, and when we did it, they're all imaginary and CG. It was quite cool to see him relive it, but also relearn it." And I also love how they're just throwing Alfred Molina right at us. It's not a secret that he's in the film, obviously, anymore. He came out and said he was in the film before the first trailer even came out, and then they showed him plain sight in the first trailer. Now, he goes on to talk about how confident he was in filming this movie and how much fun him and director John Watts had. He says, "The first film, John Watts and I were sort of flying by the seat of our pants. This one, I think we both felt really confident, so we were able to relax. We actually had so much more fun on this one than we did on the previous two." And I'm sure that comes down to confidence, but I'm also sure that it comes down to having a lot of different big actors to work with in this film, if you're catching what I'm saying. Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe, Jamie Foxx, perhaps Paul Giamatti, and of course, what we're hoping for, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And hopefully they are coming, because it sounds like the future of Spider-Man is kind of unknown at this point, and No Way Home could be it for Tom Holland. Now, I seriously doubt that. He loves playing the character, and Marvel loves him, and Sony loves him, and they have a great relationship now, and I don't think that's coming to an end anytime soon, but in this article, he's leading us to believe like he doesn't know what's going to happen next. He said, "We were all treating No Way Home as the end of a franchise, let's say. I think if we're lucky enough to dive into these characters again, you'd be seeing a very different version. It would no longer be the Homecoming trilogy. We would give it some time and try to build something different and tonally change the films. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But we were definitely treating No Way Home like it was coming to an end, and it felt like it." He goes on to say, "We've been making these films for 5 years now. We've had such an amazing relationship, the three of us. We've been with each other every step of the way." Obviously talking about Zendaya and Jacob Batalon and himself. He continues to say, "We've done every single film, every single press tour. So this one scene, we didn't know if this would be the last time we were all working together. It was heartbreaking, but also really exciting because we're all moving into the next chapter of our careers. So sharing that moment with them was maybe the best day I've ever had on set. I don't think I've ever cried like that, ever." But in the article for Entertainment Weekly, it says, still, Tom Holland adds that just because he spent the last 5 years perfecting his web slinging didn't mean that he could let himself get complacent. Tom Holland said, "If you're not willing to focus and do the prep work, you're going to get called out. Because when you're dealing with magical spells and dimensions, it really gets complicated." Now, when Tom Holland talks about the end of the Homecoming franchise and trilogy, I think that's exactly what he's talking about, the end of the Homecoming trilogy. Do I think he's coming back as Spider-Man? Yes, absolutely, and I think he's actually going to lead the Avengers, the new Avengers, or possibly the Young Avengers, and I do think the Homecoming trilogy will end, but a new one will begin. But I will say, even though Sony and Marvel have not confirmed that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be in the film, I really hope they do, and all of the evidence points to them being in the film. And if this truly is the last time that we're going to see Tom Holland on screen, I think it's actually going to be really cool to not only see him, but see the Spider-Man that came before him. Him standing right next to Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and then at the end, standing right next to MJ and Ned. I don't think this is the last time we'll see Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but I do think that there will probably be some time in between Spider-Man films after this. And I do think that this film is going to be truly epic. But let me know what you think about all of this in the comments down below. What do you think about these new photos, and what do you think about what Tom Holland said about this possibly being the end? Leave all your thoughts, comments, hopes, dreams, tears in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates, you can always follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I did post these photos on there first, so if you want to stay up to date live, follow me there. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.